Hi, my name's Jess, and my two words are performing and resting. Growing up, I went to church all the time with my family, and we prayed a lot, so it really did instill in me this love for God and, a view that I really wanted to follow Him and do what He said. And so growing up, I just really wanted to please God and then also please the people around me. So it kind of became this performance that I had. Performing to be a good kid for my parents, performing to be a good student for my teachers, performing to be a really good friend to people, just always performing so that I could make people happy. I pretty much say the goal of my life was to just make as many people happy as possible, including God, which after a while started to get really exhausting. Especially going into high school when I realized so many of the decisions that I wanted to make with my friends or just on my own really would not line up with making God happy. And so I just started realizing that God had these really high standards, and I felt like I could never meet them. It always felt like I couldn't ever be good enough for God, or that any time that I failed, that He was up there shaking His finger at me saying, "You did it again, you screwed up one more time." So after kind of starting to feel this way for a while, I thought, you know what, I'm kind of done with this. If God is so hard to get to, if I feel like I'm always screwing up for Him, I can never make Him happy, I'll go on making other people happy, but I just don't think I can do this whole God thing anymore. And then in my junior year of high school, I overheard some of my friends talking about why Jesus came to die, which was an interesting conversation because I had never, even though I'd gone to church for so many years, I had never actually heard why He came to earth to die. And so it was really cool to hear that actually the feeling that I had of distance from God and feeling like I could never be good enough for Him was a really true feeling, that was true, that God was perfect and really did have high standards, that we were supposed to be perfect to come to God. So that seemed like really bad news, but that's why He sent Jesus, because we were separated from God because of all the sinful things we had done. All those times that I just wanted to make myself happy instead of God happy was all the things keeping me from knowing Him. And so Jesus came to live the perfect life. He performed perfectly. He came and He lived and didn't have to die, but He chose to die in our place so that if we believe in Him, we could have a relationship with God and we could be forgiven of all those things that separate us from Him. So after hearing that, it was an incredible transformation. I really do feel like that's why my new word is resting. It was so different. Instead of having to perform for God and perform and try to make Him happy all the time, I could rest in knowing that Jesus performed perfectly on my behalf, and that through Jesus I could rest in this confidence that now I had to know God and to know where I stood with Him. That's why my two words are performing and resting.